And now that I've finished making a fool of myself, trying to show you how to use matrices, despite my great knowledge on how to use them in the HP Prime, I will now show you the computer algebra system. So the computer algebra system, also known as CAS, allows us to do calculus and other algebraic things, and, well, anything we want. And it's very simple to use. You just have to have very certain settings turned on and off to make it work in the way I like to make it at least work. You can always change it to work the way you want, but the way you want is probably strange and weird, and my way is probably superior, and that's not biased at all. Now, if we come to the shift settings and press CAS, we'll see that I turned this back on a while ago in one of the other videos to show you what it looks like when it's in its default mode. So exact mode is always on in CAS mode, which is the default. And you might be asking yourself, what the hell does that mean? Well, I'll show you. So if you come to the CAS setting, so the only way you know you're in CAS and using the computer algebra system is if it says CAS in the corner. So exact means it's infinite precision. And for those of you that aren't familiar, if I were to say 7 divided by 8, that's infinite precision right there. It has no decimal approximation. If I were to do the same over here in Loserville, well, 7 divided by 8, you'll get a decimal approximation, which is fine, right? Who cares? It's not really that much different. But if I did want it to not show me a decimal approximation, I can turn exact mode off. And I can now show you that it does now give me decimals, which is kind of useful if you're trying to do calculus and you want it to not give you strange things. Not that it should, I don't think. I haven't had an issue with it, but I turn it off just for the sake of turning it off. Now, to do calculus, you should turn your calculator to radians. I am not to show you why you should. I don't just say you should do something without showing you. Now, to do calculus, it's very easy. You come to the toolbox, or you could use the things I've showed you in units for limits and for whatever that is. Limits and integration, that's what it is. You can come over here to the CAS functions and use calculus. So you can do everything you want with calculus: differentiate, integrate, limits, series, summation, differentials, these types. You can do integrations by parts u and v. You can do transformations or limits. Oh wait, what was that? That was integrals by parts in v. The fundamental theorem of calculus, my favorite. The other junk and some more junk that I've actually never done, but that's aside from the point. So to do some simple calculus, you click on or press enter, do whatever to access this. And so it says diff for differential. You don't have to use the toolbox. You could actually just type out diff, but why would you do that? So I need to differentiate, let's say, x squared. Note that you should be using a lowercase x, not an uppercase x. And that's because if you use an uppercase x, it won't recognize it. I'll show you. Let's say that's not the right button. Let's say I press on the toolbox again, come to calculus, press differentiate, and oh, I'm actually not in the CAS mode. Now I'll show you what happens if you use the capital X. It says you're a moron and you should eat gravel. You have to use the lowercase when it comes to the CAS mode, at least for calculus. I don't know why. It's strange like that. So yeah. Now another thing is we can actually do some pretty, intricate calculus. So let's say we want to do the differentiation of cosine of x times the sine of x. Now if we press enter, we can see that, what the heck is this? You might notice something wrong. There's all this trigonometry garbage in here with negative pi over 180. Why would I ever want to see that? I'm not taking trig classes, and even if I did, I would simplify that. This is because our calculator is in degrees. We want to switch this to radians, and that's why you should switch it to radians. If I were to type this command in again, you can see it now gives me something that is a little bit more beautiful. And that's how you use the CAS mode. It's very useful.